Namaste, beautiful yogis. Welcome to Yoga for MMA, Part 3. This is a Power Vinyasa Yoga class, Level 2-3. Let's begin at the front of our mat, feet hip width apart. Inhale your hands over your head, lift, reach, extend your tailbone down. Allow your feet to sink into your mat. Lift away from your feet. Exhale, flat back, dive down, forward bend. Inhale, look ahead of you, straight back, step back plank. And lower down all the way onto your belly. Inhale, cobra, elbows into the rib cage, drop the shoulders away from the ears, tuck the tailbone under. Look over your right shoulder and over to your left. Keep your chin parallel to the floor. Back to center. Lower down and press yourself up and back into downward facing dog. Spread the fingers wide open and you can walk in place here. Breathing into your hamstrings, stepping side to side. Look between your hands, lift your tailbone high and step your feet between your hands. Coming into forward bend at the front of your mat. You can shake your head here, yes and no. And let's come all the way up to standing with a straight back, reaching over the head. Hands over the third eye and over the heart. Big breath in, reaching over the head. Exhale, dive to the floor. Inhale, look ahead of you. And let's step back, plank. Lower down, chaturanga. Upward facing dog, lifting the kneecaps here, engaging your quadriceps. Tucking the shoulder blades into the back. Back to chaturanga and exhale, downward facing dog. And let's remember our wrist and hand alignment here. Spread the fingers open. Active fingers, active arches of your hands. Lifting the tailbone high, feel that elongation in your spine. And let's step the feet at the front of the mat. Exhale, hug your legs if you can, otherwise grab whatever you can grab, your pants. And inhale, straight back, come all the way up to standing, hands over the third eye, hands over the heart. Big breath in, lift, exhale, folding forward. Inhale, look ahead of you. And step your feet at the back of your mat, plank. Chaturanga, upward facing dog. Lengthening the back of the neck. Press your toes down into your mat. Back to chaturanga. Exhale, downward facing dog. Shoulders away from the ears. Check out my downward facing dog alignment for shoulders. I have a class or a video tutorial explaining how to align your shoulders in downward facing dog. And let's step the feet at the front of the mat. And wrap your wrists around your elbows. You can hang your chest over your legs here. Bend your knees slightly. And let your head be heavy. Slowly roll up one vertebra at a time, all the way up to standing. Coming up like a rag doll, and let's inhale the hands over the head, lengthen. Hands over the third eye, hands over the heart. Big breath in, chair pose. Exhale, forward bend, clasp your hands behind you and press your hands away from your back. Bending the knees or keeping them straight. You can breathe into the front of your shoulder, stretch. Inhale halfway up, look ahead of you. And we're gonna open the right shoulder up towards the ceiling. Back to center, over to the opposite side. Back to center. Exhale, forward bend. Hands on the floor, look ahead of you, and step back all the way into plank. Holding plank, pressing the heels away from you, strong belly. I'm twisting my hips side to side here, still in plank. You can explore this movement, flexing your core. And now same thing in chaturanga, side to side. Heels are side to side, holding chaturanga. Great. Upward facing dog. Really lengthening the back of the neck, back to chaturanga. Exhale, downward facing dog. Spread the fingers wide open, pull the navel in towards the spine. And here we're gonna move in a wave-like motion, coming into King's Cobra pose, and again reversing the wave back. A few of those poses, allowing your spine to curve, rounding and arching both. Breathe into your spine and move with as much fluidity as you can, staying on your toes here. Moving into King's Cobra, moving back into Downward Dog. And you can take a downward facing dog. And let's take the left leg across from the body, side plank. Easy side plank. And we're gonna grab the left big toe with the right hand. Look up, hold. You can turn up. Just explore. Holding your toe inside plank and step your foot, left foot at the front of the mat. High lunge, reaching over your head. Press the back heel away from you, tuck the tailbone under, connect to your core, come back to your breath. And let's bring the hands behind us, clasping. Open the chest and lower down, humble warrior. Press the hands away from your back. Soften the front of the shoulder, and you can drop the back heel down. Side angle, keep the clasp behind you. And let's lower the left hand on the outside of the left foot, reaching over the head with the right hand. Lengthen both sides of your torso. Drop both hands on the ground. Plank, knee tuck. Keep your knee as high as you can into your chest. Hold. And press it back in downward facing dog. Let's step the right foot across from the body, side plank, crisscrossing the feet. You can explore your side plank here. You don't have to hold a steady, firm side plank. Grab your big toe with your left hand, and you can twist and turn here. Explore this hold. Guide your foot to the front of the mat. High lunge, leading with the right leg, reaching over the head. Breathe. Relax your shoulders. Lengthen through the fingertips. Keep the chest open. Keep the left leg strong here. Connect with your quadriceps. And let's clasp the hands behind. You can reverse the clasp. Dominant finger under and lower your head towards your ankle, humble warrior. Pressing the hands away from your back, pressing the back heel away from you for balance. And let's come back up, side angle, keep the clasp going on. Lower the back heel down on the ground, sink a little deeper in your side angle, lengthen. Drop the right hand on the outside of the right foot and lengthen through the left fingertips. Really lengthen. And let's bring the hands on the floor, plank, knee tuck, right knee high into the chest. Pull the belly in. And press back into downward facing dog. Step it back down. Let's walk the feet to the front of the mat. Exhale, forward bend. If your flexibility allows it, you can hug your calves. Or you can just hang heavy here, keep your knees slightly bent. Shake your head yes and no. Soften the face. Soften the jaw. Soften your lips. Inhale, look ahead. And come all the way up to standing. Hands over the third eye, over the heart, chair pose. Hands on the floor, crow. Bring your knees on top of your triceps. Lift your feet towards your booty. Jump, chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Open the chest. Press the collarbones away from each other. Chaturanga. Exhale, downward facing dog. Spread the fingers wide open. And let's cross the left foot again, side plank. Crossing the feet. Crisscrossing. Grab your foot one more time, right hand, left foot, and lift up. Lift your heel up towards the ceiling. Back to side plank, step your foot at the front of the mat. Twisting lunge, keep the right hand on the floor, left arm reaches up. Press the back heel away from you, soften your belly. Either stay here, or you can guide your left hip back and deepen that twist, open the chest up. Reach towards the front of the room. Come up to standing, keep the twist so the chest is facing towards the left. And drop the left hand down the right leg. Reach with your right hand up. Let's bring the right hand on the outside of the left knee and reach towards the front of the room with your left hand. Either stay here or you can transition into an arm balance, lifting the legs off the floor, keeping the left knee on top of the right triceps. Side crow. And go back into side angle, Ashtanga style. And let's bring both hands on the ground plank and keep your knee all the way onto your triceps, left knee, right triceps. Really lift it. Great. Back to downward facing dog. Step it back. And let's take the right leg across side plank. Reaching over the head. Grab your right foot with your left hand. See if you can lift up or just move. Guide your foot to the front of the mat for lunge alignment. Twist. Left hand on the floor, right arm up. Hands reaching away from each other. Drop the shoulders. Press the right hip back, lengthening the obliques here. elongating. Reach in front of you towards the front of your room and stack the shoulders on top of each other, keeping the back wide and the spine elongated. Neck aligning with the spine. Come up to standing and guide your right hand down the left leg. Reach with your left hand up. Keep twisting here, keep lengthening, keep opening, keep breathing. And face forward. Let's go into a twisting lunge, guiding the left hand on the outside of the right knee. And reach towards the front of the room, palm of the hand facing down, shoulder away from the ear. Really exhale here. This is a deep twist, very therapeutic, very good for your digestion, great for your spine. Either stay here or go into an arm balance, side crow. And step it back into a twisting high lunge. Great, and let's bring the hands in plank and keep your right knee really high onto your left triceps. Hold it there. Breathe. And back to downward facing dog. Step your feet to the front of your mat. Forward bend. Wrap your wrists around your elbows. And allow your shoulders and upper body to be heavy here. Allow your head to be heavy. Decompressing the spine, allowing the spine to decompress. Let's bring the hands on the shin bones. Squat, chair. Reaching forward, hands in prayer. Let's bring the left elbow on the outside of the right knee, twisting chair. Take your left foot all the way back into twisting lunge. And either hold here or you can clasp behind. Bound. Twist lunge. Now you can step your back foot in and begin to take that left leg up behind you in a warrior 3 or standing half splits or bound half moon pose alignment, and step it back. We're gonna have to come back to this one. We need practice, I'm sure. Stepping back into bound twist lunge. You can lower the back knee on the floor. And deepen that twist. Soften your belly. Open your chest. Look behind you. Lift the back knee off the floor. Bring your hands on the floor. And let's bring the right knee high onto the right triceps. Lower down Chaturanga 1. Lower down Chaturanga 2. 3. 4. And 5. And press it all the way back. Downward facing dog. Step it down. Come back to your breath. And let's prepare to do the same thing over to the opposite side. Walk your feet to the front of your mat. Bend your knees. Wrap your wrists around your elbows. Take chair pose. Hands in prayer, right elbow on the outside of the left knee. Keep your knees square, open the chest. Take your right leg all the way to the back of your mat. High lunge, twisting, prayer. And you can wrap your hands behind you. Bound, high lunge, twisting. Drop the shoulders away from the ears. Look at the front of your mat and step your right foot in and begin to balance. Try to hold that clasp here. I was having a bad balancing day when I did this class, so I'm definitely gonna continue working on this pose in the next few classes and step it back. It will give us the opportunity to deepen our one-legged standing balances. Now in bound high lunge, drop your knee down on the floor and hold here. Just enjoy this twist. It's a very challenging twist, very rejuvenating for your digestive system. So breathe and deepen. Great, let's bring the knee off the floor, hands on the floor plank, and you're gonna hike the left knee as high as possible on the left triceps, almost into the armpit if you can. Chaturanga 1, Chaturanga 2, 3, 4, and 5. Good. Step it all the way back, downward facing dog. Inhale the right leg up. Step the right foot between your hands. Come up, high lunge. And let's lower the knee on the ground. Crescent. Reach all the way back. Back bend as far back as you can. Lower the hands or elbows on the floor. And you can lower down all the way into splits, or you can stay in high lunge or low lunge. Working on your hamstring, hip, quadriceps flexibility, hip flexors. Coming back up from this high lunge, transitioning into an arm balance, right elbow underneath the right inner thigh. Hold. And step it back, Chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Chaturanga. Downward facing dog. Inhale the left leg up, step it through between the hands, high lunge, reaching up. Lower the back knee down on the floor and reach all the way back. Crescent, back bending, opening the chest. Lower the elbows or your hands on the floor and either stay there or you can go into splits or half splits, partial splits. Keep your hips level and square. And breathe into whichever area feels that stretching the most. Hamstrings, quads, hips, hip flexors. Keep the hips level with the floor. Hold in the place that feels comfortable to you. Great. Coming back up from this, bring your left shoulder underneath the left leg and transition into an arm balance. Lifting. Stepping it all the way back, Chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Enjoy it. And child's pose with your knees wide open. You can have the palms of your hands facing each other here. Relax your belly, soften your lower back. Slowly coming out of this, lay onto your belly, and we're gonna go for scorpion reaches. Opposite foot reaches out to the extended on the outside hands. This is great for your spine and for your fluidity. So do anywhere from 3 on each side, 6 altogether, to 10 if you can. Reaching foot towards the hands. Try to have your hands on the floor and just step side to side like a tail of a scorpion. Once you're done, press yourself up in one piece, in one straight line, and go back into downward facing dog. Let's bring, here you can see this move. We're gonna bring the leg across and up. Do a few of those, anywhere from 3 on each side to 10 on each side. So we're threading the leg across and up, twisting it up. It takes a bit of spinal twisting here, core strength, fluidity. Come back to this class. I have the explanation of this pose in my interval training class. I'll link it below. And you can continue with this move. You can kick side to side or kick up. Experiment with the move and do what challenges you the most, how you feel it the most in your core. Great, once you're done, you're gonna bring your left leg across from your body and lay flat on your chest. So you're gonna feel this in your hip. Soften, learn to soften your breath, learn to soften the hips. Press yourself up, plank, downward dog, and change sides. Step your right foot across from your body underneath your body and lay down. You can flex your foot. You can flex both feet. And just soften, exhale and soften, laying down on your hip. It requires you to learn to soften. Don't resist. Don't try to force stretching. Soften into stretching. Next, I'm demonstrating step outs on the outside of the feet. Let's get going. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2. Strong core. And you can lower your right shin bone on the floor. Keep your hips level with the floor, pigeon. Breathe, soften. Soften even further with the hip openers that we got started a few poses back. Nice deep inhalations, and as you exhale, feel your body softening into the tension, pain, stretch, however you want to call it. Soften into it, yield into it, allow your body to soften. Learning to soften can be a lot more challenging than learning to be strong. Learning to let go is for sure more challenging. And you can deepen this by bringing your left shoulder on the floor and the left arm across. Here you can clasp behind, so left hand touches the right upper shoulder, the back, and see if you can bring the right elbow by your rib cage and clasp behind. Another variation is hands in prayer and left elbow on the right knee, on the outside of the right knee. Either stay here or you can deepen the stretch by Straightening the leg across and underneath you, and you can grab your leg with your left hand. You can grab your foot. Great. From here, we're gonna come into side plank holding that foot. We already did a variation of this in the beginning of the class. And go back into one-legged downward dog. These are a lot of new variations and poses, so I recommend you coming back to this class once you know the sequence. And from here we're gonna lower the left elbow on the ground and step the right leg behind us while thin with the forearm on the floor variation. Lift your hips as high as you can. From here transition into forearm side plank. Left hand on the floor, left elbow underneath the shoulder, and forearm plank. Hold it. You can lower your chin forward between your hands, hands touching, index fingers touching. Go for 5 to 10 lower downs, using your upper body strength and your core. And once you're done, you can hop in downward facing dog and lower the left shin bone on the floor, pigeon on the left side. Flex your foot. Flex your left foot and keep your spine elongated. Lower down and breathe. Come back to your practice in letting go. Contemplate letting go of your self-importance. That is a big one. Practicing exhalations. Observe your exhalations. See if there is something stuck somewhere in your chest as you exhale, or are they free? Many days, if you're very mindful, you will notice that your exhalations are completely different. Sometimes there's something stuck in your ability to let go, and sometimes there is complete freedom. Observe it, be aware of it without any judgment. Just observe the state of your mind as related to your breath this day. Your breath is a mirror of your state of emotions, feelings, thoughts. Continue softening your hips. Continue softening your rib cage, your belly, your lower back, your jaw. And here you can bring your right hand across from your body, trying to bring it as far out as you can. See if you can clasp behind or just keep it across. If you clasp behind, you're keeping your left elbow as close to your rib cage as possible. And slowly coming out of this, we're gonna go for a twisting prayer once we're done with Sophie kisses. Alright, so hands in prayer. We have to get rough with her and get her out of the way. And come into a prayer. Great. From here, you're gonna thread your left leg across from your body and lay down. Keeping both shoulders down on the floor, lay down on your chest. Clasping your foot left foot, right hand. There is a lot of work in this pose to be done, so we should come back and incorporate it in more of our stretches. Great. From here, come up into side plank, left hand on the floor under the shoulder, and keep holding your foot. Good. Downward facing dog. Inhale the left leg up, lower down onto your right elbow, forearm, and go into wild thing with your elbow, forearm on the floor. Lift your hips as high as you can. Transition into elbow side plank, right elbow on the floor, and forearm plank. From here we're gonna go forearm plank to forearm plank a few times. Keep switching. Keep moving and reaching over your head. Great. Come up onto your hands, downward dog. Inhale the right leg up, step the right foot between your hands. Lower the back heel down, come up warrior one. Open into warrior two. Walk the left hand down the left leg, reversing your warrior. Keep the right knee bent. Don't forget about your right knee here. It's a common mistake to straighten the knee or bring it inward. Great. Side angle. Right hand on the outside of the right foot. And come back up, warrior two. Straightening the lead knee. Triangle pose. Reach ahead of you. Lower the right hand down by the right foot or on your right shin bone. Reach way ahead of you. Lengthen. Bring both hands on the floor. Square your hips. Revolving triangle pose. Keep that right hip back. Lower the shoulders away from the ears. And transition into revolving half moon pose. Left hand on the floor somewhere in front of the right foot. Open the chest to your right. Warrior three from here. And come up to standing on one leg. Bring your left leg in front of you. Transition into eagle pose. Garudasana. Left elbow underneath, the right elbow clasping and lifting up. And the left knee is over the right knee, sitting back, softening the shoulders. Great. From here, we're gonna lower down, grab the big toes, and roll back into plow pose. Once you're in plow, bring both knees on the outside of your right ear. I'm actually gonna readjust my plow so that I have enough room behind me and roll over my head all the way into forearm plank. Make sure you have practiced this before you attempt it, and you can jump at the front of your mat in low squat, yogic squat. Let's grab the big toes one more time and roll back one more time. This time bring your knees on the outside of the left ear. Same thing, we're gonna roll over, prepare to roll over. You can skip this altogether if you're not familiar or with plow or you've never done this. So rolling over and to forearm plank. And from here we're gonna step across a few more times. 1, 2, 3, and you can even touch your toes with the opposite hand. And once we're done, step into side plank, right hand on the floor, and just step your left foot behind you into wild thing, modified side plank wild thing. Back to plank and switch sides, wild thing over to the opposite side, wild thing. Opening the chest. And back to downward facing dog. Let's inhale the left leg up, step the left foot between your hands, come up high lunge. Lower the back heel down and transition into warrior one. Reaching up. Breathe. Hands over the heart, open into warrior two. And let's reverse the warrior. Walk the right hand down the right leg. Keep the knee bent. Great. Side angle. Left hand on the outside of the left foot and reach way ahead of you. Inhale. Warrior two. Straighten the leg. Triangle pose. Reaching way ahead of you. Turn the palm of your hand down. And let's square the hips. Revolving triangle. Right hand on the floor on the inside of the left foot, or right hand on the left shin bone. And reach way ahead of you. From here you can bring your right hand somewhere in front of the left foot. Lift your back foot off the floor and go into revolving half moon pose. Warrior three. Come up to standing, leg in front of you. Eagle pose. Right knee on top of the left. Right elbow underneath the left. Reaching up, softening the back of the shoulders. And release. Grab your big toes and roll back. Plow. Holding your big toes. You can bring your feet side to side here, just in plow. Moving your feet side to side, moving your legs left and right. Keeping the spine and the torso loose. And from here you can move into shoulder stand. And let's bring the knees over the ears. To come out of this, roll onto your tailbone and grab your big toes. Navasana, holding the toes. And roll back, holding your toes. Plow to Navasana. Plow to Navasana. Plow to Navasana. Use your core to stabilize. Open the legs out. Bring them back in. And here we're going to bring the left hand on the outside of the right foot. Twist and reach back. Switch. And let's grab both big toes one more time. See if you can go for a forward bend, balancing onto your tailbone. And bring the hands on the floor. Work your legs in half lotus or full lotus here. Sitting. Twisting side to side. Let's bring the hands by the hips and lift the booty off the floor. Lifting the legs off the floor. Belly in. Great. We're gonna go for peacock pose in lotus variation. So bring your elbows into your belly, hands pointing towards the back of the room. Once you find some form of balance, lift your legs off the floor. Alternatively, you can jump back in chaturanga, or you can just slowly come out of this. Once you're in downward facing dog, you can twist side to side. I'm moving quickly here, so it will help you to do this a couple of times. To get in the flow of the sequence. And once you're in downward facing dog, lift your tailbone high and jump into seated. Extend your legs in front of you, flex your feet, reach over your head and lower down, forward bend. Holding forward bend, breathe into the back of your legs. And inhale, come back up. You can open your legs out wide. Flex your feet one more time and lower down one more time. This time wide-legged forward bend. Flexing the feet and softening the inner thighs and the hamstrings this time. Coming back to your breath. Inhale, coming back up, and we're gonna bring the right elbow on the inside of the right knee and reach over your head. You can deepen this pose by grabbing your right foot with your left hand and switching sides, or you can just stay on your elbow and lengthen the sides, obliques. One more time, forward bend, wide-legged forward bend, and you can come up. Bring the right foot on the outside of the left knee and twist. Here you can choose your preferred twist. If you can clasp underneath and behind you, clasp, bound twist. If not, you can just bring the elbow on the outside of the knee and switch sides again. Choose your twist. This is more advanced. This is the more advanced version of this twist, but you can go into this twist either way. Challenging your spinal agility, flexibility. Let's bring the soles of the feet together. Baddha Konasana, you can lift your hips off the floor. Open the chest in a back bend variation here, or just hold Baddha Konasana. And let's grab the feet. You can open the feet like pages of a book, lowering the knees down towards the floor. Breathe into your inner thighs and hips. One of the most therapeutic poses in yoga, Baddha Konasana. From here, one more time, lotus pose. If you can wrap your hands behind you and grab the opposite big toe, go ahead, do that. Forward bend is optional. This is an advanced variation of lotus, so take your time. And come back up, hands over the knees, palms of the hands facing forward. Close your eyes for a moment and come back to a place of gratitude, being grateful for all the blessings in your life. Bow to your heart for its forgiveness, compassion, passion, fire, and love. Namaste.